the IEEE ComSoc. I would like to welcome you all to our first event in collaboration with the IEEE student branch in the University of Bahrain. And I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you and explain and introduce the IEEE ComSoc. Hopefully by the end of this bootcamp, you will have a hands-on experience with one of the most requested programming skill, which is programming with Python. And I would also like to take this opportunity to introduce the new chapter in IEEE to you all, alongside our webmaster, Amal Hajjaj. The IEEE ComSoc, or the Communication Society, is one of the many technical societies under the IEEE umbrella, which specializes in the field of communication and networking technology. There are many benefits of being a member, such as networking with other professionals, workshops and attending workshops and technical courses like this one. And please keep an eye on one of the events that we're planning, which is the Arduino workshop, and that will be hosted by the end of August, inshallah. And being a member allows you to keep up with technical advancements within your field of expertise. And it allows for students to show off their skills in student competitions and awards, and allows them the chance to get scholarships to attend or continue education in their favorite universities or their dream universities, and even get travel grants to attend worldwide conferences. I'll leave you now with Amal Hajjaj, where she will continue the demonstration.
Hello. Now you guys are maybe asking yourself, who can register as a member? Well, everyone can register as an IEEE member, including engineers, IT students, math and physics students, and law students also. For more information about us, please visit our page on Instagram at IEEE. Now I'll leave you with the skillful engineer, Mohammed Jassim Al-Mheza. He has a bachelor degree in electronics and communication engineering and nano bachelor degree in AI programming, with Python making him known for his great knowledge and expertise in Python, C++, JavaScript, and other hardware implementation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. This is Mohammed Jassim, Engineer Mohammed Jassim. I would like to take this opportunity as well to thank ComSoc Committee and IEEE Bahrain branch for allowing me to deliver this material in this evening. I wish everyone find the content informative and interesting. So, first of all, we need to start Anaconda distribution and then start Jupyter Notebook. So we open start Anaconda, click on Anaconda. So right now we are inside an Anaconda Navigator. I hope everyone was able to download it. We want to open Jupyter Notebook. We click on Launch. We'll open in the browser. This is the Jupyter Notebook server. Next step, before we start with the tutorial, let's have take a little background about Python. So Python basically was developed
I think there might be a technical problem. Let us wait for the engineer to come back.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry for that. We were talking about Python history, and this is Mr. Guido van Razum, who developed Python in the first place. Why we are learning Python? It is created actually to be easily understood, and it has plenty of packages, libraries, where you can expand the features of your code. Plenty of documentation, and it works on cross-platform. It works on Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and other operating system as well. And it has a high market demand, as we will see. So this is a basic example on how basic is while you're developing in Python comparing to other languages. So for C++, if you want to print hello to the output stream, you have to write this whole code. For Java, you have to write this whole code. But for Python, you have to write only one command line or one code. So this is just an example of how simple it is to work with Python. According to Stack Overflow, they had statistics about how much users they are writing comments or questions about Python, and it seems that Python has the most or the top on the list for having questions and in this committee. Python is also popular in the programming language index. As you can see, it is increasing. The popularity of Python is increasing by year. So it's beating the other languages as well here. Many applications you can do with Python. Like here, we have the task automation. You can work with Excel files, PDF, search the files for certain information, scrubbing the web, sending emails and messages, etc. Also is used for data science and machine learning. For machine learning, usually there are other also languages used, but the main language that is used these days is Python, and there is also R language is used as well. Data visualization, performing multiple machine learning tasks and learning from the input data. Also, we can use Python in the web development to design the backend of the websites. So this is one of the fields also where Python is good. Desktop applications, both systems, game development, and the list go on and on. So who's using Python? This is an example of the biggest company in the world. They are using Python and their systems. Either it is in the front end or in the back end. They use Python a lot, especially Google. And they said here, there is one of the Google developer said that they have a concept that Python, they use it everywhere. Python where we can, C++ where we must. So Google is also using Python heavily. To install Python, there are multiple ways to install it. I know that we are using now Anaconda to use the Python, but actually there are other ways to install Python. Here we can use the text editors. We can use something called integrated development environments such as PyCharm and Spider, we can use the notebooks as we are going to learn today, this night. And there are also other no installation online platforms. You can try them. There are, such as here, you have the Google Colab and Roblet and others. You can write the code, but the issue with writing the code online, some of the platforms will not allow you to save your code unless you sign in, register with them. So we are using Anaconda now. We are coming back to Anaconda. Basically, why we use Anaconda? Because it contains Python and more than 700 additional packages used in data science. If you are using Anaconda, you don't have to worry about the version of Python that you are using, or about the version that other packages that you are using. For example, if you are using package like OpenCV or Pandas or whatever, Anaconda will take care of, will enable you to easily select the version that is compatible with your system. So we go back now to Jupyter Notebook. Now we are on this page, and we see here a lot of different folders. Actually, these folders are the folders that are already inside your computer right now. And if we want to find this path, we go here. See, usually it will point to this path. Then you go to users. Then you select your user. Here it might be different for you. This is my username. So right now we are inside this directory. And if we want to open the folders that we already downloaded from the GitHub, I hope everyone was able to download these files. If we want to download them, or if you want to access them via the Jupyter Notebook, we go to the files. This is the compressed file that I've downloaded. These are the files inside. Okay, I will take this folder, cat it. Then I will go back to this directory. It is shown in the Jupyter Notebook. I will paste it here. Okay, it's already open. That's cannot copy it. I will copy it like this. And I suggest that you rename it. You add a prefix in the beginning. You say 001 -1 then the name of the file. And that way, if you open Jupyter Notebook again, you will see the file is on the top of the list. Click on it. Then you will see all the files here you can access. Now we want to start with the basic file here, 001. Please, everyone, open this file, basics, to follow up with the course. You will have this page now opened. Okay, and here mostly Jupyter is using something called Markdown language for writing the information. And the good thing about Jupyter is that Python interpreter is already embedded, integrated in the system. So if you can see here on the top, you have Python 3 interpreter. So any line here you see in, you can write a code and you can execute the code using the Python interpreter. So when I click, if I want to execute the code, I click on run on top. Click on run. Okay, you see now we have one row in and one out. So this is the output of this line. And this way you will know every line in your code, what is the output exactly. And there is another way to execute the line is by, if you are using Windows, you hold Shift, then Enter. This way the line will be executed again also. Okay, Shift Enter will execute the code. Now we will start from the beginning here. So, and if you already opened the basic, please follow up to answer, because you will have some questions will show here in this page. Now we will talk about the common data types in Python. And also we'll talk about the operators. Here are the basic data types in Python, where you can see here in the table, you have integers, which are whole numbers. This is an example here of a whole number, and floating point number, which are the numbers with decimal point. And this is an example here. And even if you notice here, 40.0 is considered as a float number because it has a decimal point here, even if it is a 0. Strings also, strings are understood by Python as ordered sequence of characters. And we will see later why this concept is important. So these are an example of strings. Strings are usually, to write messages or write names or whatever, you have to bound the text or the string by double quotation, or even you can use single quotation for that. So even here, this is a 2000, because it's bounded with double quotation, then, or a single quotation, then it is considered as string, not integer anymore. The fourth type is the Boolean, which is a logical value, true or false. This we will use it in the control flow later. Basic arithmetics that we can use in Python is as shown here in the table. We have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division. Floor division, we'll see the difference between them right now. The remainder of division, the power, the square root or the root, and the order of operation. So for addition, you have this line now in your code. If you click Shift Enter, you will get the answer. Subtraction as well, the same. Multiplication. All of the code that I am executing right now is executed using the Python interpreter and the backend. So even if I execute this code on another application such as PyCharm, I will get the same results. But the idea, as we said here, that you can check the output of every line. Next, we have floor division. Floor division, if you use double slash, then you will get only the integer part of the result. So here I'm getting 1, where I should have 1.75. Now I am getting 1 only. The remainder of division. So here I'm getting 0 because it's odd number, 6. I am dividing, I am taking the remainder of division of by 2. The power here, I can use double stars to get the same answer for 2 to the power of 3. So next, also you have the square root. I can use the star again, double star, and 0.5. 0.5 contribute to the square root here. Order of operation also is adhered in Python. So if I put brackets, I will get different results. But as this example here, I put parentheses here.
I'm sorry, but there seems to be some technical issues. Let us wait for the engineer to come back. Excuse me, but the voice is not.
Sorry for that.
Yes.
So for variable assignment, I can perform different operations, such as here addition, and here I can also reassign the value. I can reassign the value, and if I get the value of A, will be 10. And here I can do
Sorry, everyone. There seems to be some issues with the Wi-Fi. Let us wait again.
Okay, we have this example now for the calculating the bonus of the employee. So the basic salary will be 500, and here the variable for the month is 12, and the bonus is 3%. So basically, to do that, I have here the formula. So the basic salary multiplied by the months plus the basic salary multiplied by the months and multiplied by the bonus. So this part I will get his annual bonus amount based on his basic salary. So variable names, if you noticed that we are using all the variable names in a lower case, and there is a reason for that. Variable names should not start with numbers. That is one. There should be no spaces. We can use this symbol instead, and you cannot use one of these symbols in the variable name. And also, we cannot use special meaning words like list or string. Okay, and it is better to use the lowercase for the variable name. And this type of variable name or variable assignment or variable name is called the snake case. This is called camel case. This is snake case. We are using this convention for Python. Dynamic typing. Python has something called dynamic typing. It means that the same variable, I can reassign it to different data type. For example, if I have one variable assigned to be an integer, I can later in the code change its assignment to, for example, string or float or whatever. This concept is not working on most other languages. For example, in C++, if you assign a variable with a certain data type, you cannot change its type later in the code. It will be fixed. To determine the type of variable, we use a function, built-in function in Python called type. So these are different types. Let's see this question here, this example. A is equal to 20. If I add A here inside, then execute, I will get that this variable is an integer. Similarly, if I assign A to 3.4, I will get A to be a float. And also here as a string, for example, I can write my name here. And if I write this sentence here and print A, I can see that this is an example actually of concatenating a string to a variable. But later I can take the type to be a string. Okay. About the string, that's the previous question or the previous example, we talked about strings. Strings are text bounded by single quotations in Python, or bounded by, or even this is the sentence bounded by single quotation, or bounded by double quotations. But we have to be aware here if we want to use a text that already has a quotation. For example, this one. You see that I already have single quotation here. So the other part of the text considered as an error. So in this case, if I execute this line, I have invalid syntax. So to get over this issue, I can use combination of double quotation and single quotation as well. About indexing and slicing. For strings, we can use something called indexing and slicing. Strings, as they are ordered sequence of characters, we can use the indexing. So indexing, actually, we write the string itself followed by a bracket. And inside this bracket, we write the index of the character that we want to grab from the string. For example, let's say we have my string. If I want to grab part of that string, I can see here the first character, the index of the first character is 0. Okay, and 1, 2, 3 goes on until here 5. So if I want to grab the first character, I will write my string, then I will follow it with bracket and type 0 inside it. Okay, and if I want to grab, for example, the last character, I will write, let's try it here, my string. And by the way, there is an auto-complete feature in Jupyter. If you want to complete the code, just press on tab. So I press on tab, I get the autocomplete of the sentence. So to use indexing, I will open the bracket like this, and we'll type 0, for example. So 0, now I will grab the first character. Enter. Here, the first character is shown. And there is something called also reverse index. We will check that one in the coming code. So for example, this string here, I want to grab the fifth character. I will write 4. And don't be confused here because we are starting from 0. That's why if we say fifth, that means 4. You have to subtract 1. To get the last character, there are 2 ways. Either I will write 5. I will count the string and pick the index of the last character. Or there is another way to do it, is to use the reverse index, where as you saw before in the previous slide, I can use -1. So -1 will give me the result of or will grab the last character in that string. And I also can go back in the reverse. I can go to the character before the last. So now to test your understanding, what would be the result of S10? In this example, I have S equal to Bahrain is an island. S will be the index 10 of S could be calculated like that. S equal Bahrain. S equal Bahrain is an island. I will now grab the first character. I will write S, then open bracket and write 0. If I want to grab, let's say, the last character, I will write -1. Now, if I want to grab the 10th character, the index 10, so if I press enter, I will get nothing here. Actually, it's the empty space between these two characters. If you count the characters, you will reach until here. Okay. Now to print the string. We saw that in the previous examples, if I, for example, write hello here, I click Shift Enter, I am getting the text already printed here. But this case only works in Jupyter Notebook. For other interpreters will not work. And there is an issue here. For example, I have two texts here on top of each other. If I print this line, I will get only the last part. I will not get the first part. Okay. So the proper way to do it is to use print. To bound the text with print, open parentheses, and write the text inside it. And this way, both lines will be printed, as you can see here. So I will use print, insert the text inside it. It can be text or it can be integer or whatever, or any other variable. Anything you will add it here will be printed, but it should be casted or should be converted to string to be printed correctly. If we are talking now about built-in function like print, there is also another built-in function here. It's called len, and this function will return the length of the string, number of characters in that string. And you can see here the answer. And this is another example. Here you will not, for sure, it will take you time to count all of these characters. Just simply use len and insert S inside. Here you will get the count of the characters in that string. And also I can use print here to print the text. This is printing the text itself. We talked about indexing, which we used to grab only one character from the text or from the string. But how about if we want to grab more than one character? Let's say I want to grab the first character, starting from the first character until the character before the last. So in this case, we will use something called slicing. And the syntax for slicing is like that. After the string, you will add, open new bracket, write the starting index and the stop index and the step. We'll see what we mean with the step right now. But about the stop, if we want, for example, grab 4 characters, then this number should be 1 plus the amount of characters that we want to grab. And here it says that stop index should be up to, but not include. We'll see that in action here now. Let's equal hello world. So to grab this part, we are starting from index 1, because index 0 is h. Now, for example, we'll start from index 1 until because we've added nothing here, Python will understand that we want to go all the way through to the end of the text. So we are grabbing this part. Actually, I have to execute this line to again. Okay. As you can see here, we grabbed from index 1 to index to the last index. But also note that the original text is not changed. Here we will grab from the first or from the beginning, because we have nothing here until the third. Not until the third, but up to the third. It means we are grabbing from 0, 0, 1, 2, without including 3. So we are taking 0, 1, 2 only, not including 3. So that's why we said up to, not including. And you can see the result here. Okay. And for using the slicing, all of these lines or all of these slicing methods will give you the same result. So if you add nothing here, or even if you add 2 colons or 2 colons and the step is 1, you will always get the same result. Here again, we're getting the same result. Note that we've added the third part, which is the step. The step is, it will tell you how many characters should be skipped or jumped. So if it is by default, it's 1. That's why we don't write it sometimes. But how about if we want to increase it to be 2? That means we will skip 1 character from the beginning here, because we don't have nothing here. So that means here we are grabbing H, then skipping E, then L, skipping L, then grabbing O, and so on. We can use something here similar to index, that we use reverse indexing. Here we can use reversing the text itself. And this can be done by just simply writing here -1. So -1, what it will do, it will print the text in a reverse way. Some programmers, they use long code to do this operation, but it can be done in 1 line in Python. I mean other programming languages. There is also a concept in Python. It's called immutability. Strings are immutable. This concept actually is related to the data types that we talk about, and we will talk about different data types later. So if we say, for example, strings are immutable, that means if I want to change any part of the characters or any part of the string, I will not be able to do it because texts are immutable. That's why we have this concept here. So hello world here we are getting, and if I go now, for example, I'm using indexing, this will point to the first character. If I want to reassign it, change its value to be X instead of H, become X. That way it will not work. I will get an error here, and it will say string objects that does not support item assignment. Built-in functions, we already talked about len, about print. There are other built-in functions. For example, we have this text. Here we can say s, then dot, lower. This will return the lowercase of all of the characters. Here we'll return the uppercase. And here we can split the text. We can split the text according to a delimiter that we add here. For example, the text hello world has a space in between them. If we don't add anything here, If I execute this line, I will get each word separately. Okay, because it's splitting the text by blank space. I can do, I can split the text by another delimiter. So this is the delimiter, L. So whenever there is L, the text will be splitted. You can see here. And note that L itself is suppressed from the text. It's deleted or from the list here, not included. But note also again that the original text is not changed using the split or other built-in functions. And also I can perform two functions or more than two functions on the same line. So one of the features of Python. So here lower, I've converted them to lower, then split each word. I execute this line. If I execute this line, I will get S lowercase and split it. Formatting, one of the concepts in Python, we already saw before that we've added a variable including as another string. That's here it equal hello world. We've added and welcome. So this will print hello world and welcome. So this value will be substituted here. Again, this is the same example actually, just we've added here extra space because you can see here there is no space in between them. So you have to add the space here so it will be printed correctly. Formatting also, we can substitute a code and substitute a string using another string. For example, here, insert another string with curly bracket. Whenever there is a curly bracket inside the string, if we use this convention here, if we write dot format, then, for example, here I have another string. This string will be substituted with the curly bracket. So if I execute the line, I am getting here the answer. This line substituted by the curly bracket. This is another example. We already saw something similar. My name here is Mohammed. For example, this is the salary. I can write a sentence here. I say my name is, then here open a bracket. I mean curly brackets. Then my salary is open another bracket. So I just have to add dot format, then open parentheses here, and the first variable with name and the second variable. It will change them in sequence. So this one will change here, and this one will change here. This is one way to do it. Actually, there are other ways to do the formatting as well. My name is Mohammed. Now you see the sentence is printed, including the correct values of these variables, the string. And not here, we do not have to convert the integer to a string. Okay. This is another way to do it. Actually, there is built-in function for Python to accept input from the user. Name equal input. If I open input and open a bracket here and type your name, for example. So this line will ask the user for his name, then save the value, store the value in this variable. The same will happen to the salary. And after that, similar to the previous example, it will change and it will print this method. So I will write, for example, here, my name is Mohammed, then will ask for my salary. So my name is Mohammed and my salary is that. Okay. I hope until here is clear.
Thank you, engineer. Can we have our prayer break now?
Yes. We'll stop now. Thank you.
Everyone will stop for 10 minutes and we will come back, inshallah, after 10 minutes to continue. Please don't leave the meeting. We will come back after 10 minutes.
Where we stopped. We're reaching till here. Now we have talked about integers, floats, numbers, and strings. The other data type, which is booleans, actually it's a logical value, and these are the operators that you can use for to compare logical values. There are other comparison operators. You will find some of them inside the cheat sheet that was provided to you. This is an example here where we can use the logical value. So here we have the distance, the speed, the time. So the distance is here, curly bracket again. Next. Sorry about that. Okay. So here we have the message. We've added here dot format. We can add it here directly, the format, or we can use the variable name and dot format, then distance. So this will substitute the curly bracket with the distance. It is 1000. Another code, we used the speed and time. Here, instead of using the distance, we multiply speed and time. Then also we substitute the curly bracket for the message. And here, where we use the logical value, message dot format, which is the first one we calculated here. Okay, equal. This is a comparison operator to the second one. We want to check if these two lines are equal to each other. And it seems that they are not equal to each other. That's because message here, message is equal to, sorry about that. Here, I mean about the speed and time, equal to 300, whereas the distance is 1000. Okay, that means here we are getting a logical value of false. So if I say, for example, for Boolean, I say A equal true, then I will get true. 2 greater than 3, I will get false. 3 less than or equal to 2, false. 3 equal to 2.0. See here we have integer and float. Again, will be executed. 3.0 equal to 3. So integer equals to float, despite that it has here point. Okay, so it is true. And here we have the square root is not equal. This is not equal to 2. And it gets to false, because this is actually equal to. So that's it about the Boolean. We will move now about the data structure. So data structure is actually a collection of data types, strings, integers, floats, and others, combined in one object. So combined in different ways. So for lists, we use the square bracket, and we add the objects inside it. So we have here integer, string, and here we have float. It's something similar to if anybody have a background of programming in C++, where we use their arrays. So it's something similar to arrays, but the good thing about Python that you can combine different data types in one object. And here we have these features of the list. It means here ordered. The items inside it are ordered. That means we can use indexing and slicing, and it is immutable. Remember that we said string is not is immutable. That means we cannot change the elements or the characters. But here instead we have lists are mutable. They are not unique values. They are not unique values inside. You can add different elements, and it will still accept. But others we'll see now. For example, we have sets should be unique values. Okay, tuples are much the same as lists. The only difference that we have here parentheses instead of brackets, and they are not. They are immutable. It means that we cannot change the values inside the tuples. Okay, so this is the major difference between them. Dictionaries, on the other hand, it's kind of mapping here. It's something different from list and tuple. We have mapping here, pair of key and value. Okay, you can see here we have key and value. If we want to get a value, we have to call the key. Okay, and they are not ordered, and they are mutable. That means we can change these values inside. That's as similar to dictionary. You can see here we have curly bracket again, but here we have all items inside it are unique. That means you don't have repeated value inside the sets. So for lists, this is an example how to create a list. And here, this is a list of integers. Here, list of multiple different data types. Okay. Here we can check the length using the built-in function length, and we can check how many elements inside this list. Okay. Another example here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We can use the indexing, similar as the strings, because it's, as we said, it's ordered. The list is an ordered items or ordered element. So we will grab here the first item, which is 1. Okay. Again, I can use slicing. So I will grab the second element until the end. I don't have anything here. That means I will go all the way to the end. So I will grab all of these elements, not including this one because we're starting from 1. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, this is another slicing, which is grabbing everything from the beginning until up to the third element, but not including. So 0, 1, 2, 3, it will not include 3, it will only take these parts. We can also add, reassign a value. For string, we cannot do because it's immutable, but for lists, because they are mutable, we can change their value. So the first element now, I use indexing. The first element in the list, I change it to new value. So the result now will accept the new value. Tuples, this is the second data structure type. So my tuple, notice here we have the parentheses instead of the brackets. So the good thing about it, that my tuple here, for example, if I want to assign, change the last element, which is -1 here, I will say equal 10, it will give me an error. It will not accept changing. And there is a use case for actually for this data type. We don't want to talk about it now because of the time. But this is just an example, a brief example about the tuple. List methods. We come back now to list methods. I mean, if you open we open the data, the cheat sheet here we provided to you. You will see if you go to the lists part, you will find several different functions here: count, append, sort, sort, indexing, slicing. So I can perform these operations or these methods on the list. So I can append a text, I can append a new item like that. So if I check list now again, I have a new item added to the list. If I want to remove an item, I use pop, then open bracket. Here I will specify which item I want to remove. This is the index. So if I want to remove the first item, I will remove it like that. So if I check now, actually I removed, I don't know what I removed, but let's say here I've removed the first element. So I end up, I have only 2 elements. I've removed the first element twice actually, because I execute the line twice. Okay. Here we have another list. For example, we have a list of characters here. And if we print, you notice they are not sorted or, so we want, for example, we want to sort these characters. Or first, we want to reverse the sequence. We use the function, the built-in function for lists. If we use the reverse, enter, you will see that the text, the sequence is changed. Actually, I executed twice. Okay, the sequence is reversed. Okay, so this is one of the functions that you can use for the list. But note that these functions only works for lists. Other data type will have different functions. I can sort the items inside the list. So here they are sorted alphabetically from A, B, C, D. And if I use numbers, it will be sorted as ascending an ascending way. Next, we have the dictionaries. Dictionaries are mapping type of data. As we said, it will have 2 elements. It will have a key and a value. And this, you will see this commonly in something called the JSON files, which are data which have different type of data that, for example, extracted from another source. And this data you want to fetch them in your system to get the real information. For example, if you have a satellite and you want to get the information from the satellite, so this is the JSON file is one of the way to exchange the data between the ground station and the third-party applications. So you will have, most of the time, you will have these this format of data. So here we have, this is the dictionary. I want, for example, take the value here, value 1 or value 2, sorry. I will write the key of the value 1 of the value 2 inside the bracket. So in this case, it's something like indexing actually, but here I'm using the keys. Note that the key should be a string, then I have a colon, then the value. Then I have a comma here in between different values. So for I am grabbing the second or the key 2 here. So if I execute this line, I will get value equal to 2. Here another way, if you want to add a list inside the dictionary. You can do that as well, as shown here. The first key here is integer, second key is a list, third key is a list as well. Okay, so for example, if I want to get the key 1, okay, I will get 1, 2, 3. If I have if I want to get item 0 from here, so I have to go to key 3. So now this part I will get this list, the whole list. If I want to take the first element inside the list, now I have to use the convention for lists, not using the convention for dictionary. So here I have to use the indexing, I mean, for the list. I will get the first element. So if I print, okay, let's try it again. This is without the indexing. I will get the whole list. So this will give me the whole list. Now I want the first element in the list. I will add 0. I'm getting item 0. Okay. I can also perform different functions on this item because it's a string. So I can change it to uppercase here, for example. Okay. Now, this is how to check actually the key 1 from the previous example shown here. Here you can do the arithmetic operations. You can do the subtraction. The first element was 1, 2, 3. Subtract minus 1, 2, 3. So the new value that is inside the dictionary is 0. This is another how to create new dictionary, new empty dictionary. Here we will add a key. For example, adding a key of we call it animal. Okay, animal equal a dog, for example. For example, now I want to add another element inside that dictionary data. I will call it color, and the color will be white. So if I check now data, if I check now data, it will be animal. Sorry, where is it? Will be animal is the key, and the value is dog. Here the color is the key, and white is the value. Okay, nested dictionaries. It means a dictionary inside a dictionary. This is what I've mentioned earlier about the JSON value. They are using a dictionary inside a dictionary. So, for example, if I want to grab the value here, this is a dictionary, the first one. Second dictionary is here, and the third is here. So if I want to get the value, I will type key 1, then key 2, then key 3. I will get the value. Okay. Value. Dictionary methods. Some of the methods here, for example, I want to grab all the key names or values. Okay, I will write dot keys. So I'm getting here, just print it again. There is something in Jupyter that you have to execute the line, okay, and then you can use it later in your code. Without executing the line, you will not get the information that you are looking for. So keys were returned key 1, key 2, key 3. So I'm getting only the keys here. Let's say I want only the values. I will use the same, but here I will use values 1, 2, 3. Okay. There are other functions actually. You will find them in the cheat sheet to get parts of the dictionary. The last data type is the sets. Sets are unique values, and we will see now how it is a benefit. We add, for example, this is the function used for sets only, to add new items. The items inside the sets are not in order and are unique. So you cannot use indexing or slicing on sets, okay? Because they are not in order. So here I've added 1 to the set. So I have x equal to here curly bracket 1. I want to add another item element. For example, I've added 2 here. Then I will get x equal to 1 and 2. If we try to add another, try to add 1 again, we'll check again. You will see nothing happened to, or nothing changed to the sets. Okay, so that means here that it's unique values inside the list. I mean the sets. Creating a list with repeat. For example, this is a list which has repeated values. I want, for example, the unique values only. I can use the list inside the set. Okay, it's called casting. This one called casting. I will add it inside a set, so I am getting only the unique values. Okay, actually, I've moved between 2 files from the data that provided to you. I finished basics and data structure. Now about reading external files. If you please open the reading external file to follow. So to read external files, file object inside Python. Okay. So file objects inside Python, we can use text files, Excel, documents, emails, and so on, audio, video. So how to use this data, or how to bring it inside Python and do different operations. First step, now we want to write a text file. Okay, in Jupyter there are some commands. They are called magic commands that will enable you to perform different tasks easily. For example, here we have write file. This is a magic command. So if I go here, for example, write, I want now, for example, create a new file, and I will add these lines inside the file. So I will write first here, I will write the percentage, double percentage, then write file, the name of the file. Then below I have to add the information that should be stored inside that file, line by line. Okay, so it will be stored line by line. If I press enter now, shift enter, so the file is already created. Where is it created exactly? It will be created on the same directory or where you opened the Jupyter notebook file. Okay, no need to look at to the file now. Just for your information. And now, for example, I want to open the file and read its content. To open the file, I just basically use open, and inside the brackets here, or inside the parentheses, I will add the name of the file. And if it is inside another directory, I should specify its directory. For example, I have another directory in the files that I've we've provided to you, which is media, for example. And not here, I can use tab to auto-complete because the file is already there. So here also I can use tab to check the content of this directory, and you will see there are multiple different files here inside it. So right now we don't have to use anything else. We want to use only my file. Open it. Then to read its content, simply write my file, because we stored the content of the file inside that variable. So I will say my file dot read. That's it. This one will print the content of the file. And note that there is /n in between each line. And this is escape character used to represent that there is a new line here. So to print the list correctly, again, remember, every time you open the file, you have to close it. Using this method, you have to close the file after you read its content. Okay. I can read the content of the file using something called for loop. So for every line inside this file, print line. Please note that there is a space here. We'll talk about that now. But the result of this command line, we will get every line in a separate. I mean, the content and separate line for each line inside the file. Okay. So this is the quiz. Actually, you will find a quiz. Is this file quiz.ipynp. Here you will find different. We will not go through the quiz right now because of the time, but at least you can look at the information here that provided to you. You have to, for example, write the equation that will give you the answer of 120.5. Write it here using different arithmetic operations. And here you want to know the type of this expression. You want to use the type function. Here, what would be the answer, or how to get the square root, and here how to get the 2 to the power of 10. So write them down, and then after you finish, you can take your answer. And there is a solution actually for this quiz. Here, indexing and slicing, and here a list. Okay, here you are giving a certain month, and you want to check from the list which month is how many days in this particular month. Okay, and there is a dictionary here, how to populate a dictionary, and here to grab hello from this dictionary, how to grab hello, how to write it. Note that I've used here nested dictionary. Then I've used more complex dictionary, nested dictionary. Every time we are asking here to print hello. This will allow you to understand how to map inside the dictionary and the list. And also this is very annoying and very hard to do it. But I mean, it will not be for sure hard to do it for you if you understand the concept. So we want to print the hello here only. You will get the solution. The solution is provided. If any question regarding that, I will be more than welcome to answer. So right now we'll talk about, we have finished with the data structure and the data types. We'll talk now about the control flow and the functions. So control flow, I will open the slides here. We have two things, or three different commands that we want to use in the control flow. If statements and the for loop and the while loop. So if statement, if I want to check if any condition is true or false, okay, using the Boolean logical values, I will write if, then inside or the line after the if statement and the condition, I should have here an indentation. Python uses something called white space indentation, and it means that I have to increase the spaces from the beginning of if. I will go inside. Okay. So usually we are using tab to get aligned spaces for all the code inside. So here, for example, we want to execute this code. We will press tab and we will go inside the if statement. Here we have if and else. If something happened, execute this code, else do something else. Okay, we'll take some examples now. I'm just going in, through the syntax of the if statement. Another part to add is if something happened, execute the same code, execute some code. Elif, okay, this is like if you are using C++, this is like else if. So in Python you write elif, some other condition happened. Else, if these two conditions did not are not true, do something else. Okay, this is an example. For example, I have this is a list called my iterable for sorry about that. We are moving now to if statement. This is an if statement. We are done now with if statement. We'll go back to the examples. Here we have if statement, then we have the condition. The condition is true. Then the second line, note that I have a space here. If I write it like that, I will get an error. There should be an indentation, they say. So if I am using if statement, I have to, the second line should be starting with white space. I'm using tab here. And note that all the lines should be aligned. I mean, after this line, anything you add here, if you, for example, you add print nothing here, for example, if I change the space like this, for example, and you will see that it is highlighted by red, that means it's an error. I will also get an error here because there should be a line. The first statement here, all of the conditions or all of the code inside it should be aligned together. That's why the safest way I'm saying now is to use the tab. Okay, this is just one example. Here another example, x equal to false. Okay, note that the logical value boolean true and false should start with capital. Okay, if you write it in small letters, it will not be accepted. For example, if x, it means if x is false here because it's false, so it will not print this one. It will print the second line because we are seeing here if x, like we are asking if x value is true, then perform this code, execute this code. So right now x is false, so we are executing the second one. So this is one example of if a statement exercise. We have prizes, depends on the point you earn. You have different prizes. So from 1 to 50, you will get no prize. 51 to 150, you will get bronze. 150 to 151 to 180, silver, and so on. So this example is actually written. I was about to write it with you, but because of the time, now we have this message, prize message. Okay, when there is a prize, when the user win, then we want to print this message. And note that inside the message we wrote you won, curly bracket, prize. So here we will substitute the prize. No prize message. Oh dear, no prize this time. We don't have to substitute any value here. So if the value points, we are referring to this variable now. For example, the user got 164 points. We'll see in which if statement lays this value. So points here should be between 1 and 50. So we are using less than or equal, and here less than or equal. It is similar as we are saying on the previous that the points should be between 1 and 50. elif here, before we go to elif, inside the if statement, the result should be no price. The result should be no price. So this will be printed here. Next, if the value of points is between 150 and 151 and 150, then the result should be price message, which is this one, dot format. Okay, we are using dot format that we used for string before. Then we add the price name or the price label. So this one will be substituted by the curly bracket. So again, here for this line, the result will become congratulations, you won a bronze prize. So the result will be printed at the end here. Here, when we have the points are between 180 and 150, we just change the price name, and else means that from 190 and above, or from 200 and above. 200 and above will get a gold prize. Okay. Hope this one is clear for you. And if any trouble, just post it in the chat. This is an example of using. Before we go to the for loop, we will talk now about the for loop. We are done with the if statement. The for loop is like we are having list of information, and we want to iterate and read each of them in a separate line, for example. Here we have my iterable. We have a list of 1 and 2 and 3. We have to add the iterable here, and then we have to specify an item name. For item name, I am calling item name like I am calling one of the items inside it. So item name is like a single item from the list. Like this one. This one could be written here. Okay. Every item inside n, because we are using n here, inside the list, for every item inside the list, print item name. So it will print 1 and 2 and 3. Okay. And note also, here we are using the indentations. Okay. So we have the item name here again, and this is the list. Could be a list, could be a string, could be a dictionary, because all of them they are ordered. The list is ordered, the string is ordered, and the dictionary as well. We can use it in this terms. We'll see about the dictionary later. We'll take an example now. This is an example, a CubeSat raw data, payload data. These are data extracted from a satellite and received, but including noise characters. These are the data, and the data should be only numbers here. But it seems that we have noise characters inside it. And if we have an overview of the code, here we see that we have and hash slash, and it keeps repeating here. So we want to remove these noise characters and get the correct information. So to do that, we write payload here. We define the payload and the information. Then we used split. If you remember, we used split before to split the string. So here we have splitted the string, but not using blank spaces. No, we are using this pattern and hash and slash because it keeps repeating here. So if you use split and print it, you will see that you end up getting the correct information, because this split will remove this this delimiter or this data, and will save the data inside a list. This is a list because we have bracket and a bracket here. Okay. Now to print this data, because we have a list, payload now is a list of numbers without the characters. So we say, for example, for data, or every line of data inside n. This is a fixed word here. N payload print the data. So what will happen now? Every line or every element inside the list is printed in a separate line. Okay. This is another example. Another example of for loop. These are a list. You will see now a list of astronauts, Emirati astronauts, and we want to create usernames for them. We want to create usernames for them, and we want to make everything lowercase and replace spaces with underscore using replace. Okay, how to do it? These are the names of astronauts. So we have a list here, usernames. Now we want to save these names in a lowercase and replacing the spaces in between them. So we'll use for loop because the list already, because we have already a list here, names. We will add names here, and for every name and names, use this, execute this code. So username, this is the username, the list. We use the function for list append to add new items. Add what exactly? Add name. Okay, add name. Now every which is, for example, now the first one. Dot replace, replacing all spaces in between to underscore. Then also all of that will be converted to lowercase. It's a bit complex, but it will do the job. You print, you will see every name converted to lowercase and all spaces replaced with underscore. This is another for loop here, but using the dictionaries. Before we used the lists, now we will use the dictionaries. So this is a dictionary. This is a list actually of a book title. We want to count every word, how many times it is repeated inside that list. We will use a dictionary word counter. For here we'll say for every word inside the list, which is book title, perform that command. Word counter. Here we have word counter, and this is a key. We don't have a key, anything inside it now. We give it a name of the book title. I mean the word of each, the word that is inside the list. I mean, this one will be great, for example, expectation, the. So we'll get a list of keys using these characters or these words. Equal to, now we will add the value. So the word counter, we will get from this key dictionary, we will get the key and we will add +1. Sorry. It's not clear. Let me just go back to it. If you see the answer here, great. Okay, these are the keys that we are using here. So expectation, the adventures. So for every word inside the book title, we are counting here. We are counting how many times it is repeated. So this part will check if it is already there, we'll add +1. If it is not there, we'll add 0 at the beginning. Now we'll talk about functions. The function is used to minimize your code and to have efficient and reusable code. So there is a syntax for the function should be followed. It should start with a definition, DEF, then the name of the function, and then we have parentheses, then we have a column. Okay, inside the function, we should have a space between them. We should have an indentation to go inside the function itself. To print the value of to print or to call the function, we use name of function, then parentheses. And that way we will call the function and we will execute what is inside it. So here we are printing hello. This part of the function is the documentation of the function itself to explain what is happening exactly inside the function. So these are some examples of functions. Here we are testing the population of density. We are sending information to the function. First, we are sending population and the land area. So this function will return something to me. I'm using return here, population divided by the land area. So it will be returned, then it will be stored in this variable. Now we will talk about something else, about the Python package. To increase the usability of your code, we will use the packages, external packages, to import different, like for example, you have here an example for math package. We import it inside Python to perform different operations. Here we are using the exponential, and we are getting the result. So we use something called import, and sometimes we use from, because external packages will have different functions. We don't want to import all of these functions. We want to import one particular code that we are concerned about. Some important packages that we can use in Python, like NumPy. It is a numerical Python library used for scientific computing. We have the plotting library, matplotlib. And we have pandas, which is for used for data manipulation, and there is OpenCV, which is a computer vision library. These libraries will enable you to perform different operations. It depends on the library. For example, here I am importing time. I can get the current time of the system. I can do some arithmetic operation with the time itself. And here I am importing the NumPy library. So for NumPy, we can create an array. NumPy is actually we can use the array in NumPy as a multi-dimensional array. The list here, we have only one dimension. If we want to use multi-dimensions, we want to use multi-dimensions array, we can use the NumPy. So here, if I execute the code, import for NumPy as NP. Okay, here NP is the NumPy library name package, and the array here I have an array. If I check the shape, it will be 5, and if I check the dimension of this array, it will be 1. Arrange, this is another function of the NumPy. A range will give me range of numbers from 0 to 10 here. Okay, this is the range of this is an array also of zeros, 3 by 4. So 3 by 4 arrays of 0, array of zeros. Shape, this function will return me the shape. This will return me the dimensions. And here I can get also, instead of zeros, I can get ones. Here I can fill the array with different values. Actually, there are many functions for the NumPy. You can look at them in the cheat sheet that is provided to you. OpenCV, we will learn something about the OpenCV here, about importing and showing images and videos, resizing and cropping images, and converting colors. And okay, converting colors, drawing image shapes, text, images, videos, using something called warp perspective and object detection. So the OpenCV, we need to import a library called CV2. This is the OpenCV library, and we want to import the NumPy, and also we want to import the plot library to draw the images that we will use now. So this line will read an image. Okay, the image will be stored in this variable. This line will change the color of the color convention used for this image, because usually the image here and for CV2 is in the sequence of blue, green, and red. But if we want to plot it, we have to change its sequence to red, green, and blue. So this line is actually doing that. It's changing the sequence. Now, if we want to plot the image, we will use IMShow. These functions are included in the cheat sheet also. So we've printed the image. The image is already there inside the media file, and we've printed here in this code. We can check the dimension for the image. So this is the dimension. Also, we can remove colors from the image, okay, using these functions. Here, I've removed the green and blue and end up with the red color. Okay, and here I can convert it to grayscale. And here I can check the shape of the image. I can see that the gray has only one two-dimension shape. I can use something called canny edge detection to detect the edges in the image like that. We can draw shapes. For example, I am drawing a black box here using this line, and using this function, we will print a line. Okay, specifying where we want to print the line. This is the start point, X and Y, and this is the end point. I'm taking the image shape, which will give me this point actually. And here, this is the color, and this is the thickness of the line. And here we will block the image. This is the same, but here for a rectangle. So I've drawn a rectangle on the image using the same here, but the only difference here, I've changed the color. And this is the start point, and this is the end point. Here I can draw a circle, specifying the center of the circle and the radius, and the color. And here the last is the thickness. Okay. So these numbers actually are the pixels inside the image itself. So changing these numbers, you have to know exactly which pixel you want to draw this image. Here I can put new text. I can insert the text the same way, but including here I have to specify the font, specify the font size, color, and thickness. Okay, word perspective. Okay, I will move now to face detection. So to detect a face, we will use something called HAR cascade classifier. It's an object detection trained model that will detect the face inside an image. So here I will open an image, convert its colors, okay, and we'll plot the image. Again, we have the same image. This is the cascade classifier used for object detection. It was used actually since 2000 or 2001, and it still is doing great. This classifier will find the image, will find the face inside the image. So this part of the code will detect the face. This part of the code will use the for loop because faces inside the image will return like a rectangle inside the image. This rectangle will focus on the face of a person inside the image. So I have to use X and Y and width and height. So this faces will have these values. So I will draw a rectangle in these locations using this line. Okay. And if I show the image again, I will see that I have a face here. Okay. I will not complete the last of the part here. You can go through the code by yourself, but I will go through the project. So we have the project here. You can do it by yourself also. There is a solution for it. So so the code, I will go through the complete version of the code. Vaccination verification system. This code, what it will do exactly, you have a list of users, and we want to store their data in a comma-separated file. Read the stored data, split each person data into dictionary, and create function to take the badge color. grab, lastly, we'll grab the person data by ID number and show person's photo. I really encourage you to do the project without looking to the complete version of the code. But this code, what it will do exactly, I will have the ID number of the user. I will check if he already taken the vaccine and how many days are left, how many days when he take the vaccine. And then we will check, depends on these dates, we will give him a certain badge here, red, yellow, and green. Depends on this table. So here we'll use if statement. So this is the complete code. If I execute all of the code, I will come here. I will write the CBR or the ID number. So I will get information. His name had Sputnik vaccine and has a red badge. So this code on top here is doing all of these calculations to get the correct information about the user. Okay, this is another example. Here, Mike Anderson has a Pfizer vaccine and has a yellow badge. Okay, so because of the time, I just wanted to go through the project so you can have fun and do it by yourself, and you might also develop it and add more information to this model. Thank you. And not please before I finish, note that this Python course will be repeated after 13 months, and we will have more than more than 2 hours. We'll have 3 days session to have more hands-on examples and work and information. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Engineer Mohammed. And thank you all for attending. We hope you found this bootcamp fruitful. Thank you so much for the very valuable information that you have provided, from quizzes to projects to examples and even a cheat sheet that made it so much easier to follow you. Thank you so much. Just as Engineer Mohammed said, there will be a full course, inshallah, on Udemy. You can register through the link that my colleague Sajjad has sent in both the WhatsApp group and in the chat box. Please fill this form to help us evaluate this event and hopefully improve our future events. And if you'd like to even register for the in-depth course that the engineer himself will provide. Thank you all for attending, and we hope you found this very useful. Thank you, Engineer Mohammed.
If somebody is willing to have any question, we could have, for example, 5 minutes of questions.
Yes, let us hear if anyone from the audience would like to ask a question. We are more than happy to answer you guys.
I can see some questions here in the comments.
Yes, there was a question where someone asked if they can use JavaScript and Python on the same project.
Well, yes, they can use. Mostly JavaScript is used for the front end and could be used with the Python. Python could be used for the back end, and could be used for JavaScript is used for the front end. But if we want to include a code JavaScript inside the Python code, you could use external libraries, such as there is something called PyV8 library. Like we have done now for the OpenCV, you can use also external libraries for that as well.
Hope that was clear. Another question is if there is a trick to speed up real-time image processing in OpenCV.
If there is, which question is that?
Hussein Ali asked if there is a trick to speed up real-time image processing in OpenCV. A method in which, yes.
Actually, well, yeah, for real-time image processing, actually using Python is a bit slower than using OpenCV and C++. There are certain methods which are faster, and there are certain methods that are slower as well. So if we want to use real-time image processing for commercial use, I would really recommend using the C++ approach.
Thank you. And Ahmed Al-Zawadi asked, which libraries are a must for machine learning?
Well, most of the machine learning libraries that I recommend, as I've mentioned about the NumPy, this is very too much important, the NumPy, for every bit of the machine learning. You have the Matplot library, you have the Seaborn, you have the Pandas, and then you have to move to the packages that are used for neural networks, like you have the, if you want to use for example, for neural networks, you can use something called PyTorch. And yeah, this is what I can remember right now. PyTorch also one of the important things.
Thank you. Tasneem Youssef asked, what about TensorFlow? Maybe she or they want you to clarify what TensorFlow is.
TensorFlow is a library used for machine learning, and it has different libraries and to perform machine learning and convolutional neural networks. You will see that it's used for object detection also, and for object detection, for face recognition, for object detection. These things of applications are used for the TensorFlow.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone who would like to ask us a question before we finish?
Including the Keras also. Keras and TensorFlow, they are much the same. They are frameworks actually, and used for the analyzing for object detection and for recognition as well.
Thank you. I think that's it for now. Thank you all for attending, and we hope we can see you, inshallah, either in the Udemy course. There will be a discount for the IEEE members, student members. So if you're a member, the Udemy course will have a discount for you. And we hope to see you also in future events. Would you like to say something before we end, Engineer Mohammed?
No, thank you. I would like to thank you all for organizing this event and for having me this night. Thank you.
Thank you.